You
and
know
we're
what?
live.
I think that this has been counting because it's saying that I'm 15 minutes into this live already. So I think that when we go into the green room, it has been counting that. And I noticed that in my last live. Anyways, welcome, Revney. I don't know whether you noticed that by the timer.
No, the timer is at not even a minute. So for me, it's when we
Oh
went
my
live.
goodness, that's right. That's Roman numeral time, or not Roman numeral, but
Okay.
yeah, military time. Okay, got it. 1 o'clock. Gotcha. I was messed up. Anyways. Okay, welcome, Ravneet. See, we was in this great big phone
Hi.
conversation before we went live, but welcome.
Thank you. How are you? We
You
were
know,
waiting for the truck to pass. That's why I
been
was
waiting for
laughing.
the
If
truck.
people
This
don't know.
big
It's like,
old truck was going up the road. It carrying heavy equipment, and so it I didn't know whether it was coming in the driveway or what it was doing. Anyways, it would have been all right if he was coming to do some landscaping. I could have handled it, but
yeah.
anyways, today. So how have you been doing? Anyways, just catching up.
I'm feeling good. Just very balanced. How about
Yeah,
you?
balance and as I said to you that what I'm feeling this clarity that getting more clear. We'll say that getting more clear and
Yeah.
looking very forward to today's conversation. And what do you
Mhm.
think about today's conversation? Forgiveness, and what does that look like? What does that? How are you feeling about the conversation today?
Um it's when I hear this word, it's been misused so much, it's actually triggering. I can feel it in my body.
Yep.
But if I feel into this particular topic, I feel like forgiveness is something that is part of the journey to assimilate, to alchemize our experiences, good or bad, and to actually provide some closure and move on.
Hmm.
Um, Provided you learned the lessons with the caveat. Um, it's a process. I don't think it's and it depends from experience to experience. It's not like, like if I said something, if I stepped over you and I said sorry, it's something different than it depends on the experience. Um,
That's that's exactly why I wanted to have this discussion because at some point along your healing journey, and as you start to heal and you start to integrate, there comes that place of forgiveness. And it's something that actually it's trailing you at some particular point throughout your healing journey. But you know what? Coming to that level of acceptance and what that looks like. And I said, what does that look like? Because when you think of uh, forgiveness from the uh, programmed sense of which has come from, like I said, whether it's religion, which you forgive those that what trespassed against you, um, so that's automatically programmed inside you that in order for you to achieve atonement, that forgiveness has to come in. Nowhere in that does it provide you with uh, the path. It doesn't provide the path of how you get
mm,
there. Because, and what does that look like when I say about the path? Forgiving someone doesn't mean that you allow them access. And when I think of uh, toxic families and forgiveness, that's something that's often promoted in toxic families. Forgiveness. That's your brother, that's your sister, that's your mother. Forgiving toxic behavior over and over again. And then
Right.
you see how it should spreads out because it spreads out through the next generation. My point being is that when you have come to that place of healing, it's understanding. You can understand that, listen, I can see where this person is coming from a very deficient place. You can see all that, but it doesn't
Mm.
mean, for me, I've come to that place of I can see it, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to give you access again. And it took a minute to get to that place. It took a minute to let go. And
Mm.
oftentimes we struggle, I think, in our journey with the toxic people in the toxic environment because we stay because of that programming. But when you walk away because you've established your boundaries, you are protecting those boundaries. And through those boundaries, you found your peace, you found your clarity. That's when I think you derive at that place and space of where you can forgive and not me and forgive in such a way that you know what? I can't wait for the universe to get you back. I can't wait for the universe, you know what, to show you your karma because you do go through that process. But nobody talks about that and whether that's okay. It is a part of the process.
Yeah.
But when you allow yourself to go beyond that process and not care, because you know that you now know the universal law. Everything does come back around. You should be busy living your life. And when you start living your life more,
Mm.
not focusing on their downfall or whether or not that they are going to be exposed or whether or not they're going to get it or whether or not they're going to come back one day with a great big apology, you've forgiven
Mm.
and you've released and continue to claim your boundaries and your peace. And in having reclaimed all of that, saying no access. I forgive you and I hear you, but no more access. That's a powerful place to be. But it gets twisted in today's society when we think of that word forgiveness. I can fuck up over and over and over again, and you keep taking me back. Or you keep, it's up to you to make
Yeah.
excuses for my mess ups. So I know I just went on a rant, probably just went the whole scope, but that's what we're talking about today.
You're
And
good.
it's an important topic because, like I said, you can stay stuck. So hopefully you can deny, you also throughout this discussion will realize where you might be stuck, where you might need to release.
Mm.
Hopefully. Hello,
Sabrina is here.
Sabrina. Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you.
Hope you're well. Um, yeah, I feel like the when we talk about forgiveness, you have to understand that there's a phase that you go through. It's like you're the part of you that experienced something is requiring justice in a way. And because it experienced something that was not okay. Um, and I think that's why the process is important because if you kind of do that whole toxic positivity thing, why is there a bug here? Um, okay, later. Um, yeah, it's like if you skip that process, you actually can hinder. You can actually stay stuck there because um, that part is not going to let it go because um, it feels damaged, it feels attacked, whatever it is, you know. Um, and I think we at the end of the day we are talking about honoring how we feel. We have to learn to honor how we feel. We have to go back to that. I think most of the time, like you were saying, we are taught these things out of goodness, whatever. Um, but what happens is sometimes what we are taught can go against how we feel, and that's why it's important to learn to tap into how we are feeling, so we can then do something about it. And it's normal to feel all of these things that we're saying. You can feel revenge, you can feel sorry, you can feel sad, you can feel angry, grief. All of that are normal human emotions.
Hmm.
And I think we forget that forgiveness is not forgetting, it's not minimizing. Because if we are doing that, that means we're not really
One
tapped
second.
into our experience. It's not minimizing, it's not excusing, um, it's not approving harm, because that's how we feel. We feel harmed. It's
Yes.
about safety, right? Um, but I think that's the direct link, if I really feel into all of this, is like learning to feel what we feel. First of all, listening and really tapped into how we're feeling, and then going from there. Because
Yeah.
our it's amazing how we are built. We have all of this. We already got this. We don't have to go out and seek and do all these things. It's just we have forgot to go back to ourselves. Sorry. Good.
No, I was just sitting here and I was thinking because we were talking about, well, as I said, we're talking about forgiveness, and I was just thinking about when when it comes to the toxic family, the family that has been
Mm,
raised with narcissism
yeah.
and all the patterns that go with it. I was thinking that, and I just completely lost my point.
Yeah,
Completely
like
lost my point.
the emotions are repressed in that kind of
That's
family
what I was going to
systems.
say. That's what I was
The
going to say.
emotions of the caretakers or the dominant person is how we should feel. So you cut off,
In doing
right?
so, you often will find yourself minimizing the hurts, minimizing actually what has been done to you. Actually, what has been done to you on a repeated, because you go into
Yeah.
that pattern of forgiver, survivor, um, 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 uh, you can battle with that wounded healer. And the wounded healer is always trying to look and see what's you can see what's going on with other people, but you're not really acknowledging what's really going on inside yourself. That of them what still needs to be healed with you. So that's one of the traps I think that you can get caught up into when you're coming from that toxic family environment. And you're dealing with all different types of different dynamics
Yeah,
simultaneously.
and
Sometimes it's all at the same freaking time, you know?
it depends. If you're an empath, your the way you normally operate is until unless you learn and you're an evolved empath, like you said,
Yes,
all you know is to give
yes,
and
yes,
give. And so that means that the learning curve is here to learn to receive. Because I think when we are sensitive and we are very tapped into the environments we are in, there's a danger of losing yourself, which is what happens. Um, and the most dangerous people that I know are the dark empaths. I'm just saying,
yes.
because they have repressed their anger and whatever they were feeling for so long, that when they crash out, and I've seen myself, and people are like, how come? It's like, I'm so calm and collected and sweet. I'm like, don't, don't take me there. It's the most dangerous thing because people don't understand that, yes, as an empath, you can feel everything, but your human has limits. And so the job of empath is to kind of sync up the two.
Absolutely, to integrate. But let's talk about the dark impact. I just want to go back to that moment of when
Yes.
when the dark impact breaks.
Yeah.
That's the same person, I can tell you, that has come to
Yeah.
recognize patterns. We keep a great log. We have impeccable memories.
Mm. Yeah.
And so when we break and we spin that stuff back to you, we're not being so choicy about how we do it. But I can tell you this, it's coming direct and it's coming real clear and it's coming, you can't deny. You can't deny by the time we've spun it back
Yeah.
to you.
I think that's the challenge too. I think as empaths, we have to learn how to process these things as we go.
Yes.
Because we
Yeah.
are so, we have taken up so much already that we can take a lot until we reach that tipping point. I don't think we should get there. I think we should resolve it as we go, which is what I'm learning now. When things come, I like use this, collect all that information, just do that right there and then.
Or,
Uh,
knowing also, I think that, because I think it's real important, to 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 learn the art when to speak and when not. Because when I am in front of
oh
people who
yeah,
I know are unwilling to acknowledge, or they're in cognitive dissonance and choose to stay there, you can see it. So what I'm saying is, don't waste your breath, because when you waste your breath, you're giving away vital energy. And that energy always gets turned. It always gets turned. It always gets turned, because they're not ready to process. But what they will do is they'll start projecting every time, which messes up your energy field, because then you've got to walk away from that encounter. And there is a level of processing that you have to do, because you're not owning it, but you're processing it. It's an energy that's entered your field. And so the biggest thing that I am learning at this particular stage is, don't even bother. Just I don't
yeah,
need to. It's not going to. I see the level of in which this person is functioning from, and
that's true. That's true. But it depends. Like when I don't think I'm always there. If you poke me, you're gonna, yeah.
mhm, here's where it
Because
becomes.
that's yeah, that's the human experience too. Like we cannot deny that every action has a reaction, and
Yes,
either we react or we internalize and keep it all in. It depends. Like you said, if you know that things are gonna get worse, and that's where discernment comes in, where to stay quiet and like don't, if you don't want drama, maybe just stay quiet.
yes,
But there are times when you do have to speak up
you have to
because
speak, because that is setting a boundary.
that is
Your
setting a boundary
speaking
and you have
is
to.
setting the boundary,
It's
because, as I
yeah,
said, with
and
all these situations,
mm,
it goes, not all of us are able to isolate ourselves into our own environments. Some of us have to work with coworkers, some of us have
that's
to,
true.
we're living with family, or you're living with someone. So, we don't all have that
Yeah,
opportunity to just go and withdraw.
that's true.
So my point being is, like you said, there's sometimes you have to speak to reaffirm the boundary.
Yes, of course. How that's interpreted is none of our business, but like stay ready for all kind of reactions. I'm just saying.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
I have a question. Why is forgiveness so difficult? We kind of touched on it, but
I did. You know what? Like I said, you know what? First of all, I have to really acknowledge what happened.
mm,
When I look at it from my own life and standpoint, and sometimes you get stuck in the anger of I can't believe that someone could do this to me. And I'm saying that in the sense
Mm.
that, you know what, because that someone could be
Justice.
anybody.
You're seeking,
Uh,
yeah.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And depending on how, because I mean, I'm looking at my forgiveness journey, and I'm telling you, I am a Cancer. Let me repeat this again. I am a Cancer Leo. So I'm going to tell you that, you know what, along my earlier part of my journey, in, you know what, being wounded, whoo, I'm going to get you, mother. I'm going to
Mm,
get you. And I'm going to tell you something. When I
mm,
sit there and I think about the venomous things that my thoughts would put out on someone, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't have to. I wouldn't say it to them. But I'm talking about where my mind space went during those days. And
mm,
forgiveness, mm, forgiveness didn't come until, you know what, you felt some of what you did to me. But that's not a
mm.
healthy place to be in,
Revenge.
because what I
Revenge.
did
Yeah.
not realize, what I was doing with those thoughts, is I was putting out into the universe for more of that bullshit to continue to happen upon me. And so it takes us a moment. You see, we're not the emotional, or we're not that sign of the zodiac for no reason, I think. Because a lot of our lessons have come with love. They're all, I think, about love lessons. That's what it's been feeling like. And what that looks like on so many different levels. Love when you're hurt, and being balanced. You have to balance out all of those things, because if you're not balanced, you're not going to be able to reason. Because
Mm,
then in those days of when I was thinking, I'm going to get you, if I'd have thought, well, you know what? Hmm, obviously that person is broken, or they're deficient in this. They're
mm,
lack in this or that. If I'd have been able to process like that, you're not taking things so personal, and you won't stay as long either. Because when you're unhealthy, you stay far too long in situations, because you know what? One day they'll see, maybe if I love them enough,
mm.
maybe if I show them enough. And I'm just speaking about the cancer, you know, that cancer personality. So that's why this whole word of forgiveness, because that's what I was going to say, is that, you know what, well, once we're done, once it's done, we're done. Done. Done, done, ditto. Ditto, ditto, done. Because
Because we forget that to get there, I'm sure like you did give people enough chances or tried
oh,
your level best.
oh,
And that's why closure, and that's where closure comes from. It doesn't come from, oh yeah, a random thing someone said and you were like, okay, bye-bye. I don't think that's how it is. And that's what unconscious people interpret it as, because they are not looking at their actions. But we, on the other
I,
end, are
here's what I wanted to say too, is that, you know what, even when, you know what, you did forgive and you moved on, it didn't mean that you did not forget. It meant that, you know what, you didn't acknowledge what you were still really feeling, which was the hurt, which whatever it was that you decided to
true,
not acknowledge. And then what do you think that that does on a repeated cycle? It festers
powerful.
inside your body. It comes out looking like disease, like anger, like, you know what I mean? Suppressed. Because for all
Yeah,
those,
yeah.
hmm, no, but yeah.
Yeah, no, this is great point. Like you're still getting hurt at the end of the day. Even if you're forgiving, you cannot undermine the experience of feeling hurt. And I think that's why forgiving is hard, because you don't want to feel that again,
And I want to say this, because
right?
this forgiveness is coming with people. You're forgiving people who are not willing to take accountability. You
Oh my
are
God.
forgiving people on a continuum over and over and over again, who have have no listen, they are very
Yeah.
quite comfortable in continuing to wear the mask. That's how they survive.
Oh my God. We can just
So
end it here. It's like forgiveness is for
absolutely.
people who are actually who take
Ju- ju-
accountability.
You know what? I just had someone driving to my driveway. Just one moment,
Okay,
please.
sure. Sabrina, if you're still here, what do you think for people who are live? I'm not sure who's live here.
How are you?
Um,
It was the cab coming for next door. They stopped here. Sorry.
okay.
Sorry about that.
And like I also felt like, yeah, you don't want the other person to get away with it. Like that's why it's hard. It's like they're gonna do that shit again. Nah, you know. And there's
You
another
know,
thing that you said, accountability. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like that's another thing I'm learning. It's like this only works for people who are accountable. For other people, their
that's why
boundaries
I say
are,
about forgiving, releasing it to the universe, and that being more for you. You got to come to, but there comes a point when you have to come to that level of understanding of who you're trying to
yeah.
forgive. But it becomes more about you placing it, you coming to your resolution on where it is at for you.
I also want to talk about like many people. Oh, you're still here. Okay. Um, so many of us, when we think about forgiveness, we think it's a synonym for reconciliation, right? Um, so can we forgive without reconnecting? Because I think that's the biggest misconception, right?
Yes, yes. Can we forgive without what? Reconnecting?
Re,
A-
yeah,
ab- Absolutely,
reconciliation.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because, you know, when you are dealing with individuals, as I said, who do not want to take accountability or are even unwilling to come to the table, because if coming to the table would mean that, you know what, you were going to
Mm.
lay out truth of in which they're not ready to handle, then you know, you're, as I said, then you will find yourself forgiving for what? So that's where it has to become about more you. You're forgiving for you, understanding that that person
Yeah.
is at a growth
Yeah.
that they are not ready to surpass and will
Right.
probably never surpass because they have spent their lifetime existing, playing the role. And some roles are harder to give up because it becomes their identity. And that identity, you just think about this. You think about the work that a narcissistic, unhealthy person has to go through in order to maintain their roles.
Mm.
And then I want you to think about when you cut off access because you are a supply, you have been one that has been uh, a good source, we should say,
Mm.
of energy supply. And that's no longer, it makes them go through a spiral. But yet they still have to put on the pretense that, you know what, they still have it all together. That you, and then not only that, but you know what, to make the rest of the world think that, you know what, you did not matter. And in fact, and that's not going to talk about the cycle of, um, you know, bashing you
Oh.
and
So
tearing you down or creating the narrative that
yeah.
you're the problem or you're crazy or whatever it is, whatever narrative that's been going behind your back,
Mm.
because you
They're just
realize
not
very soon,
available for that because they have their
oh,
own
you're
shit
no
going
longer
on and their
available
own
for all of that.
ecosystem, like you said, going on
Yeah,
to maintain whatever it is that they're. You're right. So I guess um, that's where boundaries come in because boundaries are a form of self-respect, and then distance because it's for you, so that
That's
you
right.
can be healthy, right? And Sabrina said forgiving also doesn't mean forgetting.
No, it
Excellent.
does
Oh
not.
my God.
No, it
You
does
know,
not.
like I have been so confused about this, like because of all the brainwashing. Narcissists lack accountability. I grew up in those, and that's how you survive in those kind of environments, because otherwise you cannot. If you
And you
remember,
know, the thing of it is, that's where the damage comes in.
damage.
And
Mm.
I say damage because, the empath is looking for the good to come out eventually. And we will hold on to that for a very long time and let some
Why do we?
real fucked up bullshit take place
Why do we do
instead
that?
forgive it. Well,
I
because
mean,
it's as I said, I think that all these individuals have come along to be help you obtain that lesson. And I believe that the toxic family of in which you are in or have come through, each member is there to teach you a lesson. And it'll be a lesson on when you sit there and you think about it. So you say, why is that? Until you learn the lesson that what, first of all, you don't pour into empty vessels. You don't try to change
true.
people who are resistant to change. And that's what we're often trying to do. And that what, you don't pour into people who are not pouring into
It's true.
you. Those are all the lessons that you are learning throughout this very fucking difficult process. That's what makes this one so hard to get to that forgiveness. Because as I said, there's a lot of messed up thought processes that you have to work through, become clear about before you can get to that point of releasing it to the universe. And as I said, that
And
release is for you, not them.
yeah, I want to talk about that because at the end of the day, why are we doing this?
Why are we doing it? We're doing it for our next level. Because you know what? You realize throughout your journey that what? I want to become the greater version of myself.
Uh
And
huh.
there comes that particular point and path of where you know what? Just like abandonment, you had to work on, forgiveness is another thing you have to work on. And it's another, like love has different aspects and levels to it. So does forgiveness.
I think, and I'm going trying. I know it's for us, but I think I'm trying to get into the pain point, resentment. I
Yes,
think resentment is extremely bad for our mind, mental health, and our physical body. Long term side effects, short term side effects.
absolutely.
Yeah. And you can get chronic illnesses. And also,
Absolutely.
like carrying pain, because that's exactly what we are doing. Carrying that pain versus learning from it, right? We don't have to carry it. That's what forgiveness is. We don't want to carry it no more.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's painful. Like you said, these experiences are painful.
Yes.
And so we
Yes.
just want to deduce the lesson from it and move on.
And
And to
that's
realize when we're not, yeah.
because these painful experiences that you were talking about, and I want to reiterate this. Remember, they're coming from a place of where what, they were not validated. Certainly not by the people that what created them, and nor by most of
Mm,
the people around you, because of the
no.
dynamics that come from that surround the toxic unit. So
Yeah.
that resentment stage is something that what, um, just because you don't
It's,
breathe it, it
yeah,
will stay there
yeah.
until you deal with it.
And in like dysfunctional families and dysfunctional family systems, it's like I've observed that like, forgiveness is almost like a reward for the other person. It's not,
Yes,
it's like, oh, let him be, let them be. And it's, and actually the the perpetrator is idolized and put on a pedestal almost, and the person who is actually the abused, it's put on them. Like that's what I felt. It was like, why do you hold grudges? I'm like, it's called a boundary. It's like, it's not, I'm not holding grudges here. It's almost like you're disrupting the system,
That's
whatever
exactly what's
system.
happening. That's exactly what is
Yeah.
happening. That's why
So you start blaming.
your
It's
forgiveness
like,
is so important to
yeah.
them, because the cog on the wheel doesn't want to be the cog anymore. The cog on the wheel is acknowledging and it's highlighting what's really messed up. And we don't want to deal with what's messed up. So that's why the importance of your forgiveness of what's ever going on inside that unit is so important. And I'm sorry I cut you off, but I had to make that point because
No, but like, oh my God, like it was so confusing. It was like, I felt like I went through so much and I had no clue I went through because it was normalized, which ended up fucking up with my mental health until thank God someone came in and made me like that my healing started.
yes,
Um, but until then, I was the problem. You're always angry, disrupting, not following the mainstream. You are the weirdo. You are the problem. It was like everything, and it's my and I have no shame in sharing it. Whatever, it's my experience. It's like
absolutely,
everything became. I became the problem. Oh
yes,
my God.
yes, yes,
Even
yes.
now, it's like I am the problem because I'm the only one challenging the well-built ecosystem that the narcissism thrives on.
I just want to say this, that here's what's happening right now, collective.
Yeah.
Anyone that's listening to this, here's what's happening right now. You see that system that worked because you kept it going and you kept being,
Yeah.
you kept accommodating that system. You see, you're not accommodating it anymore. And I can guarantee you that this is something that's happening in real time right now in most of those units that we are coming from, survived from, or surviving from. They're starting to break down. Because, as I said, I want to go back to the consciousness that's happening on the planet. It's raised. So it makes it very difficult for those energies to continue to exist. Instead, they're being exposed. They're being exposed because as one continues to
Yeah.
light to wake up, and one becomes more enlightened, then you know what, they're not buying in to everything that they're seeing. In fact, they may be even questioning. So once again, for that's very disruptive for the person that is acting in those behaviors. And so it's happening. And you may notice it inside your own unit right now. Buckle down. And if you haven't already created the distance, I really advise you to create your distance. Because I don't know where you're at in your journey as you step up, but
Right.
yeah, you will need to create the distance if it is,
Yeah.
because I know that toxicity goes, whoo, it can go levels. And those levels go mentally. Whew,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the best thing you can do for yourself because that gaslighting really messes up with your head and affects your nervous system, and that's why it's hard to get out of abusive situations. So
yes.
distance is, I think it's like a reset. um and I also want to talk about like what, like apologize, like seeking that apology that never came or accountability that never came is why it's so hard to forgive.
Yes.
um right. Waiting for closure or some kind of it's like learning to create your own closure, I think is
You have to,
Yeah,
because when you look at it from the standpoint, I look at it like this now. They don't have the capacity. They do
they don't
not
have the
have
capacity.
the ability to self reflect. And self reflection is such a huge part of
Yeah,
any relationship that is, or even conversation, you know? That's why. So when you
that's
understand
true.
that about the individual, that there was something that happened along their growth cycle that stopped them. And I can't say that this is probably going to be for every single person, because I do know this, that there are different levels. And that, if you were to ask me, do I think that people have the ability to work on themselves? They do. But when the resounding evidence is that they're not, that's your cue right
Yeah, and you
there.
have to work with people. We have to work
Yeah,
with actions. Like you don't
yeah.
like potential is actually the like why empaths stay in situations where we should not. Oh my god.
Potential. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Acceptance, ex- acceptance, that's it. Like go with what you see, really see things as they are. I think is the all the closure you
And,
need, and no words or nothing can ever resolve this. Oh my god.
and remember that, you know what? The game was to keep you under a form of control and to block your throat chakra. Why your throat chakra?
Yes,
Because that's the main thing of why you experience so hard. You suppress
true.
so much of your throat chakra. You suppress so much of what you felt. And that is exactly what is trying to be done right there. So you're not doing that. Trust me. That is the power source. That is your power source.
Yeah, and I also want to talk about that's something that I encountered was like forgiving myself. Like there was so much um f- depending on how you grew up, there's so much like guilt and regret
Hmm. Hmm.
um that I had to actually grow from, grow away from, um because that's what, depending on how you're bringing again, if you grew up where you had to give up all of away your agency like that, this can actually feel like guilt, forgiving someone, or actually even feeling angry, um like holding yourself to impossible standards is another thing that you know you
Let's
should
just
always
talk
be
about that
kind.
right there. Let's talk
Like,
about the guilty for
yeah,
feeling angry. And I want you to think
feeling
about how
angry.
destructive that is when it's
Oh
not.
my god.
But when your view is not clear, the feelings that you allow yourself to resonate and you put upon yourself during that process, not
Mm,
healthy.
wow. I mean, I could burn the whole world. Like there was so much suppressed anger in me, and then on top of it, the like I was made to feel guilty about it. Like you're always angry. I'm like, I'm sure there's a reason, but like you see what I mean? Like the stories we are fed can actually suppress the whole experience and the whole process.
But isn't it funny that when in taking your power back, you learn to regulate your emotions more, which means I'm going to allow
Yes.
myself to process what it is I'm feeling.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to acknowledge it, whether you don't or not. I'm going to acknowledge it. Oh, how powerful that is! And it's
So it's like learning to not punish yourself. Like
it
that's what we do.
is
We
it
punish
is
rather
it
than
is
doing it. We punish ourselves, like internalizing all
absolutely
of that. Oh my
absolutely
god.
absolutely.
Guilty, guilty. And then compassion. I have okay. People throw this word all around, like I don't know,
Yeah,
olive oil these days. Like compassion, compassion should be
yeah.
compassion. What do you think about it? Like what is the role of compassion here?
You know,
Without gaslighting yourself.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to just say, you know what, learning first of all, be compassionate with yourself. And compassion, I think, you know, you can have compassion for someone, you know, means I can listen, I can see, I don't have to take on, I don't have to try and fix. I can leave
Mm.
you to your own demise and know that the universe has got you if you choose. That is how I look
Mm.
at compassion today. Compassion is not taking on the
Yeah,
problem,
like
not trying to fix it.
understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're all,
understanding someone's
and only
behavior.
what's mine and what belongs to somebody else.
Yeah, like no, you don't have to excuse. You don't have to excuse someone's actions, like even yours. Like accountability again. Seriously, understand, but not potential. No, we're not going at potential, you guys.
No. Oh, I'm telling you right now that the empath, the unhealed empath and potential. I just want to say that, oh, we love falling in love with potential. Oh, yeah. Can you see that potential
Rose-colored
though?
glasses.
I love these glasses because I'm telling you right now, the sun's right in my face.
No, I'm saying like we wear rose-colored
We
glasses
do,
almost.
we do,
It's like
we
seeing the
do.
best in everybody. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. But
Okay.
once again, if the lesson is love that you are here to master, one of the great
Yeah.
ones is love. Well, why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, and I think the biggest one when we talk about compassion was like hurt people hurt others. Like I it's like when you talked about capacity, it's almost like it's again like you're not doing anything about it. So you
Yeah,
basically that I take that as like you're hurt and you don't even want to look at it.
yes,
And you're hurting others because that's your baseline.
yes,
You think that's the best way to handle
yes.
life. So you first of all you do that with yourself. Probably someone that did that with you, and then you just perpetrate all of that nonsense everywhere around you. Um, Again, I love the accountability. So like empathy with accountability. Like I think I did share this reel the other day. It was like your empathy, um, your boundaries have to be more bigger than your empathy. Cause again, otherwise you can go in that gray area where, yeah, you don't
I've
want to
been
be.
loving your reels. I want to tell you that I've been catching them, and yeah, like they're timely. They're timely. So, you know, keep
Thank
keep
you.
keep keep it going.
Um, oh my God. Another thing, like these days, I have a lot of, we all go through life, whatever. I have been time and time again told to forgive someone. Like, why, what do you think? Like, when you're not ready to forgive, you're not ready to forgive. Like, that, what do you think about that? Like, seriously, don't, like, stop pushing the process or your pace, I guess. Honor it. What do you think?
Well, I do. Like I'm telling you, I'm a Cancer once again, and so
Okay.
telling me that I needed
It's
to forgive
gaslighting.
him. Oh God Almighty, yes, it was gaslighting. Now that I look back at it, because you know what, you were also telling me that you know what, I couldn't acknowledge my pain, and when I tell you, the
Oh,
pain runs deep.
yeah.
The pain runs
You know
deep,
what?
and I'm sitting up there and I'm thinking, you know what? Not only did you know what I allowed the gaslighting to take place, but then you know I continue to gaslight myself because that's something that often takes place. And I know this is not something that just is you know cohesive to Cancer. That you know what, this is what we
No.
go through on the process. I'm telling you the intensity of and what I have felt over my lifetime following these processes until I got it. So it's such
It's
a
like
freeing state right
it
now.
can backfire. Yeah, it
Oh,
can backfire
yeah.
because you're not there yet and you're being asked to do something, it actually takes you like 5 steps back.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yep.
Every time someone tells me to do something that I know I'm not ready for,
Yes.
I actually, it deters me. It
Yes.
doesn't.
Yes.
I'm just saying. Um, so I think it's a choice, maybe a process. Like I don't think we started with that. It's both. It's a choice, but it's also a process. Honor that.
Acknowledge, and you do have a choice. Am I going to hold on to this? Am I going to release it? And in
Yeah,
releasing
and
it,
it's
what
like,
does that look
oh
like?
my god, you know? Mm.
And how
It's
much are you
like
holding on to?
denial. It feels
Yes.
like denial, like like you said, like denying what I experienced. Oh my god, like
But
what?
that's another thing that I wanted to say too, because this is what's happening right now. You say, why are we having this conversation right now? We're having this conversation right now because this is the part of the process. I think that a lot of us are in acknowledging, actually taking that time to acknowledge what the heck really did happen. Meaning that, what, all that of them which I suppressed, all that I was told not to really acknowledge, I'm acknowledging it today because it's a part of that clarity, because I need to be clear before I can go on. So that's something that I think is happening as well today. It's a part of the
Mm.
refinement process.
Clarity. Yeah, we need. It's like I have realized over time, emotional intelligence, and then learning all of these things that we're talking about is very much a part of your healing journey.
Yes,
You feel what you feel, but if you don't have the language, you don't know what's going on, it's like hella confusing.
yes.
Emotions are confusing already, and you need to resource yourself with all of these things. You need to know what's going on. I feel like that is another way we find closure. Because again,
Absolutely.
it's our experience, right?
I got to tell you, I'm
Um,
loving this conversation today very much.
yeah, me too. I also want to talk about, because I think when we say forgiveness, we are actually letting go in a way. And we did talk about it. It's like we letting go of resentment, letting go of that pain. What else do you think? Are we?
Letting go of the outcome, being in control of the outcome.
Oh,
Because you know what?
yeah. Oh my
I tell you, that's what
God.
often keeps us in
Control.
between. And it's the outcome, trying to, looking at what you think that's going to be. When you can release the control of the outcome, it's also freeing. Because remember, all of this is taking up some space in your body, but more your mind.
Yeah.
All these experiences, all these people, all these, because if you are uh, blessed to be a chosen one and you've accepted your assignment, then you're going to realize that, you know what, fuck. Most of your encounters, most of your people, most of your family, and all these experiences that, you know what? Oh, my goodness. Yes, release them. Release them. So it's a power for you. And you're
I
also
think
creating a space for the good.
that's the most difficult one for me,
Yes.
because it's like that, it's like I missed my childhood, like that need to like rewrite the past or something that you lost, the time. It's like, or that whole age or identity that you were wronged, like that is,
But you
it's a
know what?
hard one.
If
There's
you
grief, right?
if you did not, I get it. I get it. That is a grief. But holding on to that is holding on to a
Yeah,
part of your story that is really
I
no
know.
longer true. It's not
Yeah,
true. Because I'm going to tell you why that's not true, Revney, anymore. In your
yeah.
old version of not being clear, that was a part of the story. But you know now that you came here inside your unit so that you experience that, so that you could become what's in front of me today. And that that little girl, everything that she
Mm,
didn't get to
that's
experience, but what she
powerful.
did, oh, baby girl, when I tell you the power, I got cold chills right now. Woo, spirit, I feel you. When I tell you, when I tell you the powerhouse that I see in front of me,
But you're right. But I
from
think
one
like
powerhouse to
that's
another powerhouse,
something.
one powerhouse to another
Likewise.
powerhouse.
That's why we're friends. Absolutely. Um, yeah, you're right. I think it's acknowledging that where what you are and who you are today is a product of what you had to almost like go through all of that. We're not going to like angelize it,
Do you know?
but like just
I'm going to share an experience because I was thinking about this, and you know what, thinking about whether I should share this, but I'm going to because you know what, um, oh, the bug.
oh.
I am 13 years old. My bedroom is in the basement, and I'm sharing this story because I'm going to tell you the power that came from it, and even the power that's existing from it today.
Mm,
I'm 13 years old. My bedroom's in the basement. It's I don't know wee hours of the morning, and when I say wee hours of the morning, I abruptly wake up. I wake up to find my brother trying to get in my bed. Now, this is the same brother that, you know what, is well known for doing this type of shit. I'm heightened. I raise up real quick. Right, everything's dark at this particular point, and I ask him what it is he wants. And he, oh no, this is not. I said, this is not yours. This is not your. You're in the wrong place. And I want to add to the fact too that he's drunk because he's been out on some spiral and allowed to come home. My whole point being is, eventually, I just gave up and said, "Here, you take the bed." And I went up and I told my mother. And what I got out of my mother that night was silence. And so you want to talk to me about how I was able to understand family patterns? In that moment, I knew that my mother did not have the fucking capacity to face what was truly going on. Her silence, I did sleep with her that night, which was a rarity for me. But it told me not only was I not protected, but the bullshit that goes on here. Ooh, now why am I saying that? I started to tell that experience because there was a reason for it. The fucking power that came from it was this, that at 13, I'm recognizing a pattern which helped to save me, I think, down the road, even
mm,
though, you know what? It came with such great fucking pain. But I understood the level of dysfunction of in what I was living in. And how
mm,
many times did things get just passed over? Just say. So when I tell you toxicity,
that's true. Yeah.
now that might
They're
be a
like
very
living lessons. Yeah,
that's how that's how deep the lesson can go, folk, for some of us.
that's true. Putting into
But
perspective.
that experience, from that one experience, I learned golden child because he was my mother's golden child. The golden
Mm,
son could
hmm,
mess up. So I learned
the
that,
fuck.
seeing that pattern,
Yeah.
many different patterns.
See, that's the thing. And it depends on how you handled it. Like a person like me would stop trusting everybody. It depends on like how you metabolize or take in that information, which is probably what I did. Stop believing in relationships, stop believing in, you know what I mean? But like, oh my God, it's a difficult one.
It
And
sets in your
that's,
mind that you are on your own. And it was from a very
yeah.
early
And
age,
that
I
you're
knew I was
not
on my own.
safe.
And then
Yeah.
you function through life that way, and
Oh my
you start
God.
protecting yourself. You become hyper
Yeah.
vigilant. It becomes a
Hyper
level of hyper
vigilant
vigilance. Oh yeah.
and hyper independent is
Oh yeah.
probably, that's why, like, especially women in my culture, like, hate men. Most of the women I talk to, it's like
Mhm,
I'm not even kidding. I don't
mhm,
use the word hate
mhm, mhm,
randomly.
mhm,
Hate men. And I'm sure there's
mhm.
a reason, because at one point they did feel unsafe, and it's not all men, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what happens. And how you kind of, it's difficult. Anyways, that's a separate. I'm sorry you went through that, but it's like, oh, makes me
Well, you
angry.
know what? Here's what I will tell you. That's the
But it
power of
made
the
you.
day. Because no, I'm not. Looking at what I was
Mm.
brought here for, no, I'm not. But I'll tell you this: Spirit kept me protected. That night, I
Yeah.
definitely had angels. When I sit there and I think about, on how I woke up that night, Spirit woke me the fuck up.
Mm. Isn't
And
that
even in
interesting?
my, because my heart's in my chest, it's in my chest, and I have to think. I have to think real quick, and I did.
Yeah.
We need to move on because
We need to move
what?
on.
I don't
Yeah.
want to. I don't want to
Okay.
stay in that one. Maybe
Oh
that was
no,
too.
no,
No.
no.
It was timely though. It was timely.
Okay, it was timely, but okay. I also want to talk about, like, because we talked like this is a process. So what actually helps?
What helps?
Personally, like, journaling helps for me, and what else do you think help for
Oh,
you?
you know, when I tell you it's about rebuilding oneself,
Um,
and that
yeah,
rebuild, you're going to be acknowledging you every day. You see those boundaries that you didn't come up with, and that you're creating.
that's
You're
true.
reestablishing them every day. You are, whether it's going for a walk, you're doing something that is helping you every day. Even the days when you wake up and you don't have no energy, your thoughts aren't clear. You're allowing yourself to feel that for a second, but you know you got to do something. You're not allowing yourself because you're choosing you. And sometimes, you know what? Listen, it does mean that you're just not doing anything. Well, my main point is you're choosing you every time. In the moment, if you're going through that process and you don't choose you, you're acknowledging the times when you didn't choose you and you get back on your path of choosing you, no matter what it looks like,
And
no matter what people say.
yeah, yeah. And I also feel like when feel into forgiveness, it feels like there's so many things left unsaid. Like, you have put kept it all in. There's so much. I think it's very important to process that, because, like, being on this journey, I feel like talking to someone you trust, a therapist, or, one time you suggested me writing that letter that you don't
Yes,
really send, but you just kind of write it out,
yes,
put it all out, like,
yes.
um, meditation, prayer, whatever, like connecting to higher power because you do want to feel safe and connected. I think is really, that's been helpful. And you, like you said, like, daily looking at what, yeah, like you said, daily
And being
practices.
cognizant, because if you've come through,
Yeah.
like I said, your nervous system is being regulated. So you know what? You're going to be paying more attention to that. And learning, because during
Yeah.
this part of the journey, you're learning what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you. And because you're acknowledging what you're feeling, you're acknowledging what belongs to you there and what doesn't belong to you. So that's the whole process. That's why they call it a healing journey, and one filled with lots of work. And you know what? The work will be there and it'll be as hard as the lesson that you need to
Yeah.
obtain.
And I think forgiving yourself is coming up very strongly too, because sometimes it's like, what could I have done? What could I
Yes.
have done to do this? Like, and it's almost like
Hmm.
we don't want, well, when there's no accountability, it's like you want accountability from somewhere. You kind of put, so it's important to recognize when you're doing that with yourself too, and to let that hurt go, like um you said. And I think we're 5 minutes past, but it's like,
We are,
and it,
but
yeah.
continue,
So,
continue, please.
but yeah, I mean, that's what's coming through. But in the end, like, that's it. I also want to say, like, forgiveness, and I think that's where we started. It's like, it's not changing the past, it's not forgetting the past either. Um, but it's kind of changing the story, the relationship that you have with the past, so you can actually don't let it affect your
Hmm.
present and your future, because
Hmm.
that's what I think what we're doing is we're bringing in the past, bringing the past in the present,
Yeah.
and we keep manifesting the same people, type of energies and experiences, which probably means we haven't metabolized that difficult experiences.
And you know
So
what? And
that's
here's
why.
the deal: if you are holding on to revenge, which you're
Yeah.
holding on to the past. If you're holding
Yeah,
on
the
for the
anti-bad.
karma to come and the, or if you're
Yeah,
holding on
same.
to, uh, if you're holding on for
Yeah.
your acknowledgement to be acknowledged and you're waiting for your story,
Mm.
you're
Yeah,
keeping
and
yourself in bondage.
like, don't give other people, yeah, it's again giving away your agency outside, you know. um it's taking back your power in a way, and not letting, not waiting for, it's like it's essentially we are waiting for that something that we never got to kind of close that chapter. um but
Mhm.
remembering or reminding yourself that you don't even need that, because
Mhm.
if you needed it, that you wouldn't have experienced it in the first place. I'm just saying.
That's right.
And I also want to mention, oh my god, I know that social media and all of this, we kind of, and I want to talk the other side now, the positive side of this.
Yes.
We have treated relationships like nothing can go wrong, everything will be perfect, happily
Hmm.
ever after, roses and roses in your life every day. But we fuck up, all of us fuck up from one point to other, all of us make
That's right.
mistakes.
That's
The
right.
point is accountability. As long as you're accountable, it's okay. Learn to forgive others. That's what relationships really are. It's not about cutting off people at every little
Right.
mistake they do,
Right.
but also remembering that, again,
Who to
accountability.
give grace to and who not to give grace to.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not always like, oh my god, like one thing someone does and you cut them off, like, no. Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
another
that's
thing.
where you know
It's
what
part
that
of
that
relationships.
discernment comes from, and the discernment
Discernment.
not going to come. You're not going to have great discernment if you have not healed those wounds, and you have not looked at the wounds that exist
Ooh,
inside
yeah.
you, and you also to see where those uh, same behaviors have lied in you.
Yes. your
Well,
toxicity.
yes,
It's
the
both
toxicity,
ways.
you know,
We all are susceptible to all of these behaviors, and sometimes you are the toxic person.
that's right.
And so, to, yeah, definitely. Again, discernment and self reflection, I think, are a big part of this. And we are talking about relationships. That's what, it comes in relationships. So, yeah,
Well,
that's all.
we
That's all I
are
have.
definitely past the hour, and that's okay. That's okay. But I
Yeah.
think we should wrap it up. But you know what? You have anything else you'd like to
Nah,
add?
nah, that's it.
Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
just going to say it was about forgiveness. And I think that the gist of what we were trying to say at the end of the day, it's not something that you just arrive at. It's a process. And
Yeah.
that process comes when one becomes more clear with oneself and one has been able to heal oneself. And that
Mm,
to deny oneself that process is to not only deny yourself the process, but you're also keeping yourself in in the problem, in the past, in the in still letting people have a control or or take up space in your brain, and they ain't even paying no rent, and denying yourself
mm,
your full healing. So I
yeah.
hope you, who's ever listening to this, is able to get something out of this episode and this conversation, because probably a difficult conversation for some, especially when you're struggling. And and so it should be. That means if it's difficult, it means you know what, it's something I'm acknowledging and I'm looking at. So good for you. But be patient with yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself, and don't allow anyone to make you feel like you need to be in a space of thinking or action that you are not ready for. So, and having said that, our next live is on Saturday, and that is on your channel. And folks, go over and click the bell. And if you have not already, go over and subscribe to Ravneet's channel. That is Winds and Reflection.
Winds of reflection.
Winds of Reflection. That's Winds of Reflection. See, oh man, my mind. And subscribe and click that bell, because then our next discussion is going to be about um I forget
The topic is about divine timing. And
the
yeah, so
excellent
there is a
divine.
message from Evie.
Hi Evie. Question of my life. Never understood the world. So true. Well, welcome. That's all of us, Evie. That's all of us. I'm telling you. That's I guess that's why we were sent here to navigate it as such. But nice to see you in the chat, Miss Evie. Nice to see you in the chat. Even though we are at its end, I hope that you you go on to make a beautiful evening. It's an evening for you. And I'm going to continue to
Yeah.
make a fabulous Wednesday. And for all of you out there, go on and make a fabulous Wednesday. And, hey, go find your peace. Protect your peace. That's right. Protect your peace and make a great day.
Thank
All
you. Thanks, Hilda.
right.
Thanks, Sabrina, Evie.
Thank you.
Bye.